Okay, so let me know if there are any issues, right? Okay. Okay, hi guys. I'm Dr. Marwah. I've been teaching young medical students for past 2 decades, helping them clear the obstacles that they have in their course. And today I have another opportunity to, guide you for this INI-CET exam. And if you're serious about cracking INI-CET, I think that you need to hear this. Uh, See, the topic of interest is, are PYQ sufficient for INI-CET? Because everybody keeps on saying PYTs and PYQs. So I would also like to know your inputs with respect to that, because you are giving grand tests on a regular basis and you're preparing. So are you finding them sufficient? Because if I say my perspective, then I'll say no, because see, the topics would obviously remain the same, but then the depth to which it is asked would obviously keep on changing. One thing that I have found out about INICET exam in the last, I would say, 2 to 3 sessions is that it looks to be an apparently very simple paper. Everybody tries to, be very diplomatic and say that it was a very moderate paper. But then I think INICET, what it does is it does not repeat the data, but it twists the data. So when you are attempting those questions, especially the ones which are having those options which are a little modified, then you will have the feeling of being there, done there, that deja vu feeling that you get, that, okay, I've done this topic and I have been through that particular situation where like I was stuck between two options. But when it comes to the actual exam, the framing of the questions with the options, most guys develop a brain freeze. So if you have ever felt that I have studied this, but I cannot I cannot recall it. I'll say this again. You get that feeling of like I have studied this, but I'm not able to recall this. Then yeah, type in the comment box relate. I mean, that word relate in the comment box would just let me know that I'm interacting with all the young people at the moment. And yeah, I mean, the objective of today's session is how to go about the next 45 days. So that's what I'm trying to tell you, that if you listen to the last time's paper, like we were the first ones to like, okay, let me not say that academy wise, let me say, like, if you go into the recall session that we did, like almost 4 options were there, or at least 3 to 4 options were there, and like we tried to be as close as to the real game. So try to listen to that recall session, and believe me, it is not a waste of time. In my opinion, like, first thing that you should do is assess your opponent, because when you go to fight a war, you need to know how strong your opponent is. No, like let's say when we talk about US and Iran war, then like these guys have been preparing very well. That is why they've been able to handle the war for 31 days. Similarly, like you guys are having a war after 45 days, so you need to assess your examiner. And how to assess your examiner? Listen to one recall session. Like you can go into the PrepLadder channel and you can listen to the recall, and then try to see what is your answer in the spur of the moment. Because see, you have a few seconds to actually decide, because reading a question will take time, then analyzing the question will take time, then you need to comment on an answer. And in INICET, more than one option can be correct. No, that is why I just put that up. Multiple corrections ki yaad nahi aayi tujhe, just see. That's just to get you have a hang of the fact that NEET PG MCQs when you're doing, then it's going to be like one correct answer. But when it comes to INICET, then you will notice that it's like multiple correct options. So you need to have a good depth of the topic. So I'll give you 3 simple core points. Hear me out right till the end. I'll keep it short and brief, but I want you to listen to me till the end. I'll just tell you 3 problem areas, and I'll tell you the 3 core solutions in my opinion, which I think have been successful in the previous couple of years, and you will be able to implement them as well. I mean, nothing I'm going to talk about is going to be like rare facts, or it's going to be like non-doable. It's all very practical and very doable things. So I think the most important thing that any student will be facing at this particular point of time is brain freeze while doing questions. Reading theory is fine, when you go through the same text again and again, just underlining in the notes or just writing a new point in the notes. Yeah, in fact, one more point before it skips out of my mind. A lot of you are using a separate book for noting it, but at least for some subjects like medicine, pathology, surgery, my suggestion would be to add the data to your original notes only, because ultimately you tend to have a visual memory of your notes. So if you're using a separate book, I'm okay with it. छोटे subjects के लिए चल जाएगा, psychiatry, anesthesia, उसके points ही बड़े limited होते हैं. But when it comes to bigger subjects, then you will notice that a lot of new information that you are learning for a particular topic, that new information, like if you note somewhere else, it will skip out of your mind. But if you add it in the topic, if you add it in the subtopic के भी subtopic में, then like the chances of retention will be more and chances of making that mistake would be relatively lesser. So that is one pointer which I think is of paramount importance, because one tends to lose memory of the notes primarily, because your capacity should be such that your brain should be able to go back, okay, I've read this where, right? Have I read this in pathology, in medicine, in surgery, in pediatrics, wherever, and then my brain should be able to register, okay, ये यहाँ पे मैंने पढ़ा हुआ था, and then this is the data that is given. तो थोड़ा analysis मतलब करेंगे, and like if we keep on adding more power to your notes, अब इस पे question would rise कि कितना और add करें. तो there is no limit to that, because medical data is very extensive, but the job that you have to do every single day is like, you have to get up and you have to start doing, in my opinion, you have to start with questions and end your day with questions. Just like a soldier is programmed to fire a gun, like similarly you guys have to be programmed to do multiple choice questions. So it cannot be that, okay, I woke up in the morning and then I'm going to read some theory, and then when I'm tired I'll do some multiple choice questions. In my opinion, whether you've eaten or not, whether you slept or not, whether you have had food or not, whether you've had too much of food, you had chole bhature, it really should not matter. I mean, the performance in multiple choice questions has to be flawless, guys, and it will come with practice. And yeah, I'm conducting a test and explanation session like every weekend. I come across, and like on in a live session in the app, I discuss questions with students, so they are able to answer very beautifully. But then the moment the options are twisted, that is where I have basically found that there is some, like, gaps that are coming, and they can easily be sorted. So like I said, I will analyze the problem and I'll provide a solution at the moment as well. So I'll just give a quick example at the moment, थोड़ा सा academic कर लेते हैं. And okay, hi Suresh and other people. Like I missed a couple of greetings in there, so I apologize for the same. But then let's just look at this question at the moment. The test and the discussions will be available on YouTube. I think there is so much of data on YouTube, right? On my YouTube channel, you listen to all the recall sessions of INI-CET 2022, 23, 24, 25. I mean, that itself will take so much of your time that to go and, like, for joining a new TNE does not make sense. But yeah, I mean, I think Elon Musk said this, that there's so much of information on YouTube that if it is utilized by somebody very judiciously, it is bound to help. So yes, guys, hit the comment button with respect to, like, what do you think is the answer to this question, and this would let me also know that where are you guys thinking with respect to, like, the topic here. And a very very frequently asked aspect, they love to ask about that gait instability and frequent falls in a patient with proprioception issues, and then they've given hemat manifestations in the question. And yep, I think a couple of guys have also started hitting the comment button as well. Like, I could pick up a 3. So like, it's good that you have to practice these questions on a spot on basis. Now when you listen to this information, right, I think everybody can pick up a Romberg sign, and everybody can pick up that proprioception part. So there's the demyelination related to the dorsal column in a patient. But then if you analyze the data, there is presence of microcytic hypochromic anemia in this particular question. So they changed the question, right? It's not vitamin B12 deficiency, because it's a microcytic hypochromic anemia that is given. That itself will change the perspective, guys. It's not a B12 deficiency. वही तो बोल रहा हूँ, guys. INI-CET, all it does, it twists the data. That's what they've done here. That one word you have to analyze in the shortest possible time frame. So the answer cannot be A and D, no, because both would basically imply the same. So you're left between two options only. That is vitamin E deficiency. Yeah, I mean, that antioxidant damage occurs because vitamin E is an antioxidant, so demyelination occurs. And copper deficiency, can hypocupric myelopathy, no? So the correct answer for this would be B and C. That is option number 2 would be the correct one. Absolutely, guys. The correct answer for this question is B and C, vitamin E deficiency and copper deficiency. Hypocupric myelopathy is the one which is given in this question. So all you had to pick up was, अब मैं बोलूँ कि एक बार मैंने बता दिया तो then it becomes easier for you guys to come across with this fact. But then, as I said, it's the permutation combination of the questions that will basically matter, and that is why doing questions irrespective of, like, whatever is your mental status. MCV can't be 12. Yeah, it's 78, doctor. Yep. Okay. So this is a microstatic hyperchromic anemia. Along with this, there's a dorsal column demyelination that is involved. So the combination of the two, I said, dorsal column proprioception part being compromised, and then I'm able to work out a hypercupric myelopathy as well as vitamin deficiency could be a cause there. So Priyanka was the first one to comment on the correct answer. Yes, Mridul Sahil also ultimately got it correct. So like what I was saying was, you see, finally the solution is कि आपको problem analysis करना है, how to adjust to an answer when the options are twisted. Then I want to say that please use rapid revision, and rapid revision does not mean speed reading. Most of you guys are using 1.5, 1.8 and 2x. Please don't do that. Listen to it at 1 and 1.2. It makes sense, but you should give time to the data for the brain to imbibe that information. If you've listened to a rapid revision already once of a particular subject, it makes sense. But for bigger subjects like OBGY, medicine, surgery, even pathology, I think speed reading is what is not recommended. So in my suggestion, you should be doing simple one thing for improving your strike rates, that is use the video lectures at 1 to 1.2, maybe 1.5. anything more than that, the voice tends to croak up, and it really you don't give time to your neurons to imbibe the data. And then what we have also done is come up with integrated system videos in this particular point of time. So like cardio, neurology, like if you do it integrated fashion, then you are able to cover much more spoke of data. The LRR component, yeah, we do have sessions conducted in the month of April and going into the first week of May as well. So yes, the LRR part would be taking care of. That was just to answer one of the queries. So what is the first problem is how to adjust answer when options are twisted. As I said, you just need to follow this step. And then the second thing is elimination skills. That is one of the core, I think, strength of any doctor. Like you are able to analyze differential diagnosis, you are able to handle patients in an OPD or in an IPD as well. And the more time you spend in the ward, the more time you spend attending to your patients, you are able to come up with more better differentials. You are able to treat them relatively better. Similarly, the time spent with multiple choice questions would also do the same. So don't try to rush into finishing an exam. That is what I've said. That's what I've seen. Most people, they tend to finish the paper very fast in the app, but when it comes to actual exam, they're struggling. So for this, I think you need to be like under guidance. So whatever system that you're using, you don't need to change over to a TNE that I am conducting or anybody else is conducting, whatever system that you're following. But yeah, I think a test series would always help you to analyze where you stand, because suppose you invested 7 days into one subject, and at the end of it, if you're still after negative marking scoring 50-55%, that would not be a right approach. In my opinion, for the current pattern of INICET, more than 190 attempts have to be there. If I analyze and speak to most of the students, they're able to attempt like 180, 183, 185. So you're still missing it by 10 marks. And believe me, you have to be a little more bold, a little more aggressive when we are going for the INICET exam, because this is all about taking a risk. It is calculated risk, obviously. मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि कोई रेयर डिजीज में बोल दूँ म्यूलीब्री नैनिज्म, राइट? इट्स लाइक नाम भी नहीं सुना होगा. तो if I come across a medical disorder where I have नाम भी नहीं सुना हुआ, तो I'll not try to attempt it. But where I've listened to the name of the disease, I have a fair inkling of how the disease process works, I will try to attempt that question. So I think 190 plus is always a good idea to be attempting. In fact, it goes up to 195, guys. I know people who have done like almost up to 200. So I think like if you're not able to recall the data, that is like a separate aspect कि भाई आप माइंड को सैचुरेट कर रहे हो, बट आप एलिमिनेट नहीं कर पा रहे ऑप्शंस को. उसके लिए तो यार दैट्स टोटली अनरिलेटेड टू द थ्योरी रीडिंग दैट यू आर डूइंग, राइट? सो थ्योरी रीडिंग तो स्ट्रॉन्ग करना ही है. डॉक्टर्स आर सपोज टू हैव अ फोटोग्राफिक मेमोरी, एज आई से ऑलवेज. सो इन माय ओपिनियन, लाइक एक बार ही पढ़ो, ध्यान से पढ़ो, बार बार पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती है. एंड लाइक आई थिंक इफ यू आर एबल टू डू दिस एटलीस्ट 2 times, then by second same pace, it's okay. That is what I was trying to say, Rahul, that it's better to be slow than being sorry, because you need to your brain needs time. It's like a sponge. The sponge will take some time to imbibe the information. So I know people, they tend to read very fast, they tend to brush out the data, लेकिन वो नहीं यार, नहीं, वो imbibe नहीं होता है. वो वैसे ही हो गया ना, आप जल्दी जल्दी खाना खा रहे हो, तो मतलब you don't get a taste of it. Similarly, like I think you need to take your time and don't need to be a speed demon, I can say like this. You have to let your brain absorb the information. And yeah, like I said in earlier, I'll say this once again, that making a copy separate makes sense, right, for STOTA subjects. But for like the bigger ones where a bit of integration is required, where a clinical correlation is required for analysis, I think that adding it to the original notes would basically make sense at the moment. So these are like, I think a couple of bits. I think I'll keep it very precise to the point. देखो तीन ही रीजंस हैं कि स्कोर हमारा ऑप्टिमल तक नहीं पहुंच रहा होता है। पहला तो यही है कि ट्विस्टेड ऑप्शन आ गए तो यार नर्वस हो जाते हैं। दूसरा तो प्रॉब्लम इज दैट एलिमिनेशन इज अ प्रॉब्लमैटिक फैक्ट, एंड थर्ड इज कि कोर्स ही खत्म नहीं हो रहा है। तो उसके लिए ही मैंने आई जस्ट गिवन एनीसेट सॉल्यूशंस एट द मोमेंट, दैट इट इज वेरी प्रैक्टिकल थिंग्स विच आर टू बी डन, एंड यू हैव टू डू इट एवरी सिंगल डे फॉर 10 hours एवरी डे। एंड बिकॉज व्हेन वी स्टडी तो धुरंधर का म्यूजिक भी माइंड में चलेगा। टुमारो आर्टेमिस का लॉन्च होने वाला है, सो आई थॉट लाइक आई जस्ट शो द रॉकेट picture to you. Maybe like if you are a science, because you are a science student, right? So science excites all of us, right? That's why we have been into this field. We are destined, हम और कुछ बन भी नहीं सकते थे, like we were designed to, like I can say we were designed to be a doctor only. So like you have now already come into, like that particular frame of mind, I would say, or you have already come into that zone where you have to like perform, right? So it's like I'll not say perform and perish, वो वाला aspect तो secondary हो जाता है. I will say like we have to perform, and that वो हो जाता है, right? You need to give it some time, you need to give it your brain some time to absorb the data, and then you will be able to do this. तो वो सबके साथ होता है यार, आई एम नॉट एबल टू रिकॉल, आई हैव स्टडीड, बट वो हो नहीं रहा है, बट देन आई थिंक दिस इज वेरी मच डूएबल. So these were a couple of inputs from my side, which like I had multiple DMs that I could not address directly due to paucity of time. So I thought I'll just come online and share my approach with you, keeping it simple but to the precise, to the point. And one liners are more forgettable. Yeah, Dr. Neha, that's वो तो देखो है ही है ना, कि जहाँ पे 3 या 4 लाइनर होगा वहाँ पे मोर डेटा, यू आर एबल टू पिक अप सम बज देयर, so you able to pick up some concept there, you are able to pick up some buzzword there, some noise is there in the question, you are able to identify this. But if it's gonna be like a one liner, it's a fact, तो वो मैंने बोला कि रेयर डिजीज है, नहीं पढ़ा हुआ तो छोड़ देना यार उस क्वेश्चन को तो. But then it's like leaving that number of questions is also very very limited. You have a very narrow bandwidth approximately in the INI-CET exam, because the competition is very very intense at the moment. Which integrated videos, they're available in the app now, no, that integrated cardiology, nephrology, neurology, like that. So if you go through that, तो थोड़ा सिस्टम का अप्रोच थोड़ा सा, मतलब आपको बेटर ओरिएंटेशन आने से शुरू हो जाती है, अदरवाइज वो टाइम ज़्यादा लगता है एनालिसिस करने में. एंड कंसंट्रेशन, ओके, मैं ऐसे बोलूँगा कि राइट, दैट हंगर टू परफॉर्म is is gonna make you man do it. So I know that maybe in their house, if you are sitting and you are relaxing, तो थोड़ा सा you tend to zone out a little, but then stamina थोड़ा build up करोगे तो हो जाएगा. तो वेरी मच डुएबल मैन. आई अंडरस्टैंड 3/4 ऑफ द वे. वो वजह से मैराथन रनिंग करते हैं तो पीपल टेंड टू गेट टायर्ड इन द मिडल एंड देन दे टेंड टू ड्रॉप ऑफ. तो वैसे ड्रॉप ऑफ नहीं होना है आपको. लाइक ये वाला मंथ सबसे क्रिटिकल होता है, बिकॉज सी एग्जाम पोस्टपोन भी हो जाए 1 महीना तो फिर भी हम लास्ट के 1 महीने में पढ़ेंगे. तो वो आप परफॉर्मेंस जो होती है ना, वो जो पीक आती है आपकी, दैट पीकिंग इज ऑफ पैरामाउंट इंपॉर्टेंस. वी नीड टू पीक राइट बिफोर द एग्जाम. देर इज नो पॉइंट ऑफ पीकिंग इन द मंथ ऑफ January. इट इज पीकिंग राइट नाउ. दिस इज द टाइम when you need to like punch in 10 hours per day. That is 100% concentration I'm talking about. And obviously like it's not possible to focus all the time, so you will tend to zone out in a bit and the productivity will tend to cater. So you need to adjust that by reducing your other extracurricular activities. I'm not saying sacrificing on the sleep component, because sleep deprivation will result in issues. But हाँ, I want you to be hardcore in a sense कि आप एक रात नहीं सोए फिर भी आप क्वेश्चन करो तो सही. Like maybe one day you try to sleep maybe 2 hours and then try to do questions. One day you sleep maybe 12 hours and then try to do questions, and then see कि कहाँ पे आपका that sweet spot is coming. Because for everybody, like there's that particular zone, I would say, when the person tends to peak. But I said, you whether you have slept or not, whether you've eaten or not, whether you've had food or not, it really doesn't matter. I mean, when it comes to doing these questions, same like when you have to handle patients also, तो भाई खाया पिया होता नहीं है फिर भी तो काम कर रहे होते हैं, तो वैसे ही यहाँ पे भी we'll be having to perform. So these are a couple of inputs, guys, that I thought I should just share with you. And Corrects are to, doctor, you need to get 170 plus corrects. In fact, 170, 175 corrects, in my opinion, to get into this recovery overseas in those. No, 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 it is more than sufficient, Shivani. So GT strategies give one a week, and whatever went wrong, that analysis will take 1 day. GT देना important नहीं होता, GT को एनालाइज करना important होता है, उसमें एक दिन लग जाता है ना, तो फिर पढ़ाई का जो सब्जेक्ट होता है वो मिनिमाइज हो जाता है। तो मेरा ओपिनियन यही है कि GT देने के बाद में तुरंत थोड़ा शॉर्ट ब्रेक लेने के बाद में फिर से उसके एनालिसिस के लिए बैठ जाओ। जो जो गलत हुआ है, गलत में देखो दो ही रीजंस होते हैं, या तो आता नहीं, आने की तो कोई लिमिट नहीं है, बट जो आता वो गलत हो गया, दैट शुड बी लाइक किकिंग मी कि नहीं भाई, आई नीड टू गो हैड एंड डू दैट टॉपिक अगेन। सो जस्ट एड दैट पॉइंट इन द नोट्स, बच्चे, दैट इज व्हाट आई सेड साहिल, दैट यू नीड टू एड द डेटा, वट एवर वेंट रॉन्ग इज टू बी एडेड टू द नोट्स. So I think that would be all for today's discussion, guys. So in this, I would say, crazy world with war going on, one thing that the Americans are doing good is sending another lunar mission, that is tomorrow, that is 1st of April. So Artemis, mankind is gonna be like, trying to explore and get back to its own glory. And I'll be coming live in the app subsequently in the T&E sessions as well. And if you want to join, yep, you can. Or otherwise, if you're going back, I mean, there's no like, magic wand by which somebody can increase your performance. You have to perform at your own pace. But I think all of you would be realizing your fallacies, and most of us are stuck at that windows of to 120, 130, and then in the last month when you are able to perform, you tend to peak beyond 150. 150 के बाद में तो कितना आता ना mark, वो उस दिन का day. If it's your day, you'll peak to 170. If it's not your day, you'll get stuck at like 150, 160, correct? So I think that depends on luck as well. But to go beyond that peak of 150, correct, and ranging up to that sweet spot of 170, 175, correct, so I'm saying that is gonna be taking the next 45 days of your time. So I think this should serve as a wake-up call. Just get into the beast mode at the moment, and like pull up all the gears and let excuses and bygones be bygones. And yep, I mean, action is demanded at the moment. So take care, guys. God bless you. And I'll see you again in the app subsequently and in my live sessions as well. I mean, they'll continue subsequently. So take care. Bye-bye. Minimum questions to solve every single day. यार खाना कितना खाते हो, जितनी भूख लगती है ना, तो वैसे MCQs हैं. So there's no fixed number that I would like to say, but yeah, 100 to 100 तो यार ऐसे खा जाओगे ना यार, तो इतना तो minimum करना ही करना है. So thank you so much, guys. And oh, okay, Anup, hats off to you, man. Hats off to you, man. And you working as a general surgeon in the army. So great, man. Great to interact with you today. Okay. Take care, guys. God bless you. Bye-bye.